Attention all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
I'm Jake Novak in for Sid Rosenberg. We've got John Katsimatidis. We have Judge Richard Weinberg. We have George Venizelos. We are all filling in for the usual Sid and Friends team. And by the way, I hope I'm the first person to tell you this if you woke up this morning and didn't know. It's a federal holiday. You may not have to work today. Juneteenth. But that doesn't mean we're taking the time off. And neither is KT McFarland. KT, we've been talking already this morning. Big breaking news. Surprise, surprise. Hezbollah attacked Israeli troops this morning.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. They blew up a tank. Yeah, there's gambling in this establishment.
What movie did we see that in?
Casablanca.
James Mason. James Mason's line. KT, I'm actually encouraged by the fact that so far we haven't heard anything from the White House about it. I think that if the Israelis get no words from the White House when they have to retaliate like this, they'll be fine with this.
Here's the problem. It's who does want the deal, who doesn't want the deal. In Iran, there are probably at least two groups. One group wants the deal because they don't like the deal, but they're pragmatists and they realize they have a country to run. And they've got to stop the economic pain. They know that the military punishment would be severe, and they know that they can't deal with the United States military if the United States military decides to attack its energy infrastructure. In other words, wipe out Iran's ability ever to make a nickel again. So they've made a deal. But who doesn't want the deal? And that's the IRGC and the mullahs, the military guys, the guys with the guns. They don't want any deal. Their deal is when Israel ceases to exist and America is wiped off the face of the earth. So they're never going to do a deal. But they know they can sabotage a deal. And I think that's what's happened now is that, okay, Israel has to respond, right? They have to defend themselves. Any sovereign nation has to defend itself. So what does Iran do? It knows it can't do military action because it will be severely punished, the ways I've just said. So it sort of tells Hezbollah, okay, guys, this is a chance to really sabotage the deal. You guys go ahead, do something. We know Israel then responds, and then we can say, okay, the deal is off. So it's the powerless in the sense of the IRGC they're not in a strong enough position in their own country to do a deal, to accept a deal, but they know they can sabotage a deal. And that's exactly what they did on October 7th, when they knew that Israel was close to having a peace agreement with Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords. So what did they do? What did Iran do? Sabotage the deal. I think that's what they're doing now, and I'm not sure how you get out of this.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows that, I mean, Iran probably, the gangs in Iran, the IRGC in Iran probably told Hezbollah to do it. That's why nobody's getting excited, because it's, how do you call it, routine for them to do that. And Israel has to do what Israel has to do.
Yeah, and the question then is, does that scupper whatever negotiations we're going to have going forward? Does it scupper?
Oh, only for the weekend, Casey. They want to take the weekend off.
For the weekend. I think they want to take the weekend off. But, President Trump's he's ultimately going to prevail. But he's got this time frame and potential economic chaos if the Strait of Hormuz and oil doesn't flow. And so I think that part of the negotiation was that the Gulf Arabs said to him, look, you could do a big military operation, but Iran will retain some kind of ability to destroy our energy infrastructure, creating not only economic problems for the Gulf Arabs, but a worldwide recession. So my guess is that Trump is buying time. He's got a deal. The Strait will be open. Prices will go down, John, as you predicted. Prices of oil and of gasoline would go down very quickly, and they have already started going down. President Trump goes into an election, and then after the election, where he hopefully does very well, and his party retains the House and the Senate, then President Trump, then there's nothing holding him back to punish Iran.
And they won't dare do something to one of those ships going through, because he knows that Trump will go back quadruple coupons.
Yeah, and we'll have every right to do it, and the world will be behind him if he does it.
Yes. And Judge Weinberg, or we have George Venizelos, the former head of the FBI in New York for 4 years, too. I mean, you guys have something to say?
KT, good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
So it seems to me it's very simple. It's a question of when you do it. You want to solve the Hezbollah problem, you take out Hezbollah. If you take out Hezbollah problem, you've taken out the last link for Iran. their protective device. That's why they're in Lebanon, as you know, in the first place. This is not an indigenous movement. This was an invasion by Iran, putting their people into a sovereign state, undermining that nation, Lebanon. The Lebanese people don't want them there. The government doesn't want them there. Hezbollah has to be taken out. If Hezbollah is taken out, then Iran has no ability to hit using their proxies. Do you agree or disagree on that?
Yeah, I do. I think it's all a matter of timing.
Exactly.
What I don't understand is why Israel never went in big and destroyed Hezbollah when they had the chance. The tit for tat stuff, that's what's happening now. But why didn't Israel go in the same way?
What historical? That's an excellent question. So what historical point in time are you talking about? You're talking about when the Biden people told them to restrain themselves and don't escalate it? Is that the time you're talking about? Are you talking about earlier?
Or last year?
Well, last year. I
think in the last year, when they destroyed Hamas.
Look, the answer is I don't know what the understandings are between the governments of Israel and the United States, what to do, when to do it. Right. But the answer is you have to get rid of Hezbollah. They're absolutely essential. You have to restore that integrity of that nation. You have to give Lebanon back to the people of Lebanon, not to the people who are actually the colonialists, who are the Iranians.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, Hezbollah is a foreign power occupying a sovereign nation. And you're right. Lebanon, the people want Hezbollah out. The government of Lebanon wants Hezbollah out. Israel wants Hezbollah out. Everybody wants Hezbollah out, and I think ultimately Hezbollah gets out or is taken out. But the matter will be one of timing, and I just don't think the president has I just don't think he has the time right now to deal with the one last remaining part of the Iranian threat.
KT, how many of them are there in Lebanon? How many Hezbollah do you think there are?
Oh, okay, so somebody explained this to me, a Lebanese American, but who grew up in Lebanon. His family is still in Lebanon. He said, "Here's the problem: that one house in the neighborhood is Lebanese, maybe Lebanese Christian. Then next door is another Lebanese family, Lebanese Muslim, and then next door to that, including some of the people who probably married the relatives of those other two groups that are in the same neighborhood, is Hezbollah." And so Hezbollah is so sort of interwoven with the Lebanese society that the Lebanese government and the Lebanese people have just said, okay, well, we don't like it. We'd like to get rid of him, but, he's married to my cousin, or his cousin is part of Hezbollah, but he's maybe not a big part of Hezbollah. They all know. The Lebanese all know who Hezbollah is and where they are, but they're so interwoven with their own families and their own sort of neighborhoods that they haven't gone after them internally. In other words, the Lebanese government, whatever.
In other words, they married each other.
They all married each other, yeah.
Oh, but that's all, KT. But that's always been the game plan of the Islamists, going back to the forming of the Brotherhood, the Muslim Brotherhood, which is to infiltrate the country and undermine from within.
Yes, and they've done it very successfully. Except now the tide is coming back. I think President Trump is going to deal with all this stuff, but he needs to win these elections. And everyone assumes that look, he's done everything else. He's done great. The economy was humming. He took the side detour to deal with Iran's nukes, which I think he had to deal with. But now he's got to figure out what is the art of the possible. When Kissinger was negotiating in 1973 with the North Vietnamese, it was what do you get a whole? Do you wait and negotiate and get a whole loaf, or do you just take half a loaf and then figure you'll go back and get the other half? I think that's what President Trump's concluding, is that I'll take what I can get now, knowing full well I'm leaving the Armada there. My actions are going to bring down oil prices so that Iran isn't going to have the kind of income, even if they are allowed to sell oil again. The assets will be unfrozen, but we can see the money moving now. We couldn't watch money moving a year ago, 6 months ago, but because of the cooperation between the Gulf Arab country banks and the U.S. Treasury, we can see where large bags of money are going. So, for example, the Ayatollahs promised Hezbollah, okay, we're going to start funding you again just in a few days. Hang on. We'll be able to see when that money moves. And what can we do? Well, we can reimpose the sanctions. I don't think this is not going to be a smooth glide path. it's going to be up and down. And, as John said, wait for the weekend, wait for Monday. It's going to go up and down, but the general direction of the economy, the U.S. economy, and particularly the gasoline prices at the tank are going to come. The prices will come down. The economy will improve. Hopefully that gives President Trump what he needs to prevail in the elections, and then the Godfather will settle all scores.
You're absolutely right. Well, KT, thank you for coming on this Juneteenth morning.